Hello, everybody, and welcome to DMI MGT 603 and DMI MGT 635. I'm Mr. Abraham. You may certainly call me Charlie if you would like. Those of you that know me already have been calling me that for years, so it should not be a problem. If you're not comfortable doing that, then feel free to call me anything else that you would like to call me. I'm not sure exactly what order we're going to do these two classes in. We'll probably mix in a lot of different things. It's going to be 6 somewhat intense weeks of the entertainment industry. We'll spend most of our time on the music industry, but we will include some other things like the movie industry and the sports world as well. So be ready to talk about just about anything. Now, a couple of things that I always like to talk about. First thing that we need to do is get a little bit of house cleaning out of the way. And the first thing is, how would you contact me? Well, if you're not in a real hurry, you can contact me through Canvas. But the best way to do it is by email. And my email, of course, is the same as pretty much everybody else's around here. It's first initial, last name, CABRAHAM at deltastate.edu. And if it's really important, you can always use my phone, 601 291 3443. I recommend, of course, that you text me first before you try to call me, because I'm notorious for not answering the telephone if I don't recognize the number that I won't answer it. Um, I think Chase, you and Jess already have the number, and your numbers are probably in my phone, so feel free to call me if you need me at any time. So, where do we start? Well, we start right here. There's a quote here that this is from Quincy Jones. This is an article, an interview that he did probably about 2 years ago. And the question to him was, is the music industry better or worse than it was 50 years ago? And you can read Quincy's response here. We have no music industry. Blah, 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 blah. Quincy's an old man, and Quincy does not believe that there is a music industry anymore. And I'm sure that you have heard this from any number of people. The music industry is dead. The music industry is dying. The music industry won't be here next year. Don't get in the music industry. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that the music industry is not dead, and it's not dying, and it is more vibrant than it has ever been. And there's more money to be made in the music industry than there's ever been before. The only thing is, you just have to keep in mind that the music industry is a lot different than the way Quincy Jones remembers the music industry. Yeah, they used to sell 4.5 million albums a week, but that was a long, long time ago, and nobody sells albums anymore because nobody buys albums anymore. Nobody buys the physical product. That doesn't mean they're stealing entertainment or that they're stealing music, although in some instances they certainly might be. But what it does mean is that we have to figure out how we're going to make money off of this new model, this new business model that we have. So I would like to start. What you see before you on the screen is the 2018 year-end report from BuzzAngle Music. And what this tells us is music consumption for the entire year of 2018. And I believe that you'll find some pretty interesting things in here. I'm going to skip through to page 11. Which is going to be some consumption highlights. Now, so you'll understand, consumption means music that was streamed, music that was purchased via digital download, or music that was purchased in actual physical format, such as albums or cassettes or CDs. So consumption covers all of that. But take a look at some of these little It's from the year. And look at the first one here. Audio on demand streams set a new record high of 534.6 billion, up 42% over 2017. And it says the previous record was set in 2017. And that was up over the 2016, which was also a new record. So what it's basically telling us is that every single year, on-demand streams go up and up and up and up. And total on-demand streams, which you can see here, includes audio and video, 809 billion streams. This is just pretty much unbelievable to me, the amount of music that's being streamed. Also notice that subscription streams grew by 50%. What that's telling us is that people are not using the free versions anymore. They're actually buying it now and paying for subscriptions to all of the streaming services. Take a look at the vinyl sales right here. Vinyl sales were up 12% in 2018, and actually vinyl sales have been growing considerably over the past few years. The problem with that, as I'll show you in just a minute, is that they're no matter how much they go up, there's still just a minuscule amount of the total consumption of music. So I'm skipping on down here to page 18 to show you what I'm talking about. Take a look at this. Digital album sales are down 21.8%. Well, that's not a surprise. CD sales are down 18%, but vinyl sales are up 11%. And strangely, cassette sales are up 18.9%. I'll tell you that my regular college-age students love vinyl and they love cassette and they buy this stuff. But look at the total here. The total cassette sales was only 118,000. That's not really a lot. And the total vinyl sales was only 9 million units, which is virtually nothing when you compare it to what the on-demand streams were, which were just unbelievable. So if you take a look at this, on-demand streams, 809 billion. That's just an unbelievable number to me. I just can't imagine all of that music being streamed. Now I'm skipping to page 21 because I'd like you to see what the genres are here. And of course, the number one genre of consumption is hip-hop and rap at 21.7%. And pop music comes in second. People have to get their Taylor Swift fix at 20.1%. Then rock, and as you can tell, it goes down considerably till we get to new age, which is 0.5%. Classical music has about 1%. I don't think any of these are a real surprise, but hip-hop, pop, rock are the biggest ones, with R&B, Latin, and country behind it. I would have thought country was a little bit higher than that, but it's not. The big question, of course, is what does all of this mean for the artist? The simplest way I know how to explain it would be to say that the money that artists are making off of streaming, which is primarily what it is these days, is virtually non-existent compared to what it was back in the days of when people were actually buying albums. And that's what Quincy Jones was talking about in that first part of this video when I talked about Quincy saying the music industry was dead. Well, the music industry, as Quincy knew it in the 1980s, is dead. It is not the same. It is dramatically different than it was. Streaming did not exist. The music industry, as we know it, changes almost every single day, and keeping up with it is a bit of a chore, particularly for old fools like me and like Quincy. But you know, I manage. Quincy's already rich, so it doesn't make any difference whether he does or not. Problem, of course, comes in the royalties. There is not nearly as much money in royalties as for streaming as there was for live albums. So the government has stepped in to make at least an attempt at fixing that. They have passed the Music Modernization Act. And here I've left for you the entire text of the Music Modernization Act. And if you would like to read it all, you're welcome to. It's some 80, how many pages is it? 66 pages of hard to read material. So I don't really recommend that you read it unless you're a legal geek, in which case go right ahead and read it all you want to. I'm going to look at this summary of it here. The summary of H.R. 1551, the Music Modernization Act, which is now, of course, called the Orrin G. Hatch Bob Goodlatte Music Modernization Act. And that's to distinguish it from another bill that was passed at roughly the same time. It has three major parts to it, and those parts are summarized right here. Improving the compensation to songwriters and streamlining how their music is licensed. The idea is to make it easier and for them to make more money out of it. And then enabling legacy artists who recorded music before 1972 to be paid royalties. Music recorded before 1972 until this act got no royalties. They could play it all they wanted to, and nobody made money on it anymore. That was all gone many, many years ago. And then, of course, the last part of it is providing opportunities for money for studio professionals, including producers and engineers. And it is important that those creative people also make a little bit of money out of some of these songs that were recorded. And of course, every deal is different, and just because this act was passed doesn't mean that studio professionals are going to make money on any songs that have been recorded in the past, but this does give them the opportunity to make better deals in the future as far as how they will be paid and compensated for their work on particular recordings. And you will find PDF copies of all of these things in the assignment that you will do next. So if you click on the assignment button below this one, you'll find those so that you can open them and read them for yourself. And your next assignment will be, actually it's your first assignment, will be regarding those particular documents.